In today's English lesson, you are going to learn how to talk about sleep in English. We are going to talk about some English phrasal verbs. We will talk about some idioms we use when we talk about sleep. This will help you prepare for the IELTS or TOEFL exam if you are preparing for that, or if you just want to have better conversations in English. Let's face it. We all need sleep. Some of us need more sleep than others. We will talk about that later. I will also have questions for you that if you are watching live, you can answer right in the chat. If you are watching this on replay, well, then you can answer them in the comments section. I have 24 different terms for you. Some of them are phrasal verbs, some of them are idioms, and some of them are just advanced terms we use when native English speakers talk about sleep. I would like to say hello to a couple familiar people. Freddie Wolf is in the house. What is going on, Tanya? Two longtime members of the channel. Brigitte, how are you? Dennis is here. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Brent. Dennis says, did you get the idea for today's lesson in a dream? No, I just thought of different things that are common to everyone around the world. And I thought, we all need sleep. I need a lot of sleep. Maybe not everybody needs as much sleep as I do, but we'll talk about that a little later. Welcome. Vancouver is in the house. Good to can't not say hello to Yulia. Welcome. Chris is here too. Welcome. All right, let's get started with the lesson. For each term, I will have a picture for you. And for each term, I will also have a definition that I hope is written in English that is easy enough to understand, and then I will use it in a sentence. So this first one is drowsy. Drowsy. If you visit the doctor's office and you get some medication, you might see on the bottle this word, drowsy. So if you are going to be drowsy, you definitely want to avoid driving. The person in the picture looks like they are in a car. Hopefully, they are not behind the wheel. That is another way to say somebody is driving. Well, what is drowsy? Right at the bottom. Drowsy, feeling sleepy or tired. After a long day at school, I felt very drowsy and needed to take a nap. So you're not sleeping, but you could be sleeping soon. Taking medicine may cause you to feel drowsy. Not a good thing to feel if you are teaching English. Luckily, I had an energy drink before class started. I'm not feeling drowsy at all. What about this one, though? Here is an English phrasal verb that we use quite a bit. Doze off. Doze off. This might happen in the afternoon if you don't have to work. It might happen in the afternoon if you are at work. And if you are at work, I can imagine your boss will not be too happy. Well, maybe you are the boss at your work. You could probably doze off then. What does it mean? It means right at the bottom to fall asleep, often unintentionally. Big word. Unintentionally. That means you didn't mean to do it. It happened by accident. So to fall asleep, often unintentionally, or when you didn't plan on it. He dozed off during the movie because he was so tired. If you doze off while driving, it could be super dangerous. Yeah. I hope you never have had to drive when you are really tired or drowsy, because if you are, you could accidentally doze off. Let me tell you a little story about dozing off and the movies. You may know I have a wife. Her name is Jamie. The last live lesson, we were together teaching English. Well, a couple years ago, I was really excited to take her to a movie. It was Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it was two, because I had seen the first one and I really liked it. So I said, Jamie, come on, great movie. We'll get some popcorn. Come watch the movie with me. She's like, well, I don't really like superhero movies. I know, but this one, it's so funny. It's not like a superhero movie. You are going to laugh. Trust me. 5 minutes into the movie, she dozed off. I think she slept through the whole thing. We are going to talk about that English phrasal verb in just a second, but doze off. Yeah, Jamie dozed off within the first 5 minutes of the movie. The next one here, count sheep. I'm not sure if this is the same thing in your country, but often when small children can't go to sleep, their parents will tell them, oh, just count sheep. That will help you sleep. Count sheep. That will help you sleep. What does it mean to count sheep? Let's get an official definition. To imagine sheep jumping over a fence to help you fall asleep. When I can't sleep, I count sheep to help me relax. That's not true. That's just an example sentence. What I do when I can't sleep is I will take something we call melatonin in English. It's a little pill. Your body produces it naturally. We have melatonin in our body. That might be one of those words that is almost the same in most languages, melatonin. Well, I will take one of them and I will put on a very boring podcast. That usually helps me sleep. All right, let's take a look. There are some questions in the chat. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Mega, hope you are doing well in India. All right, first question. Nazar is wondering, how long do you normally sleep? Well, I will have a question for everyone in just a minute. Maybe I can put that up right now and we can talk about it. It's a little further down in the lesson, I think. Isn't it there? I thought it was. Well, I can't find it now. So I would like to ask everybody this question. How long do you normally sleep? You can put it right in the chat. If you are watching on replay, leave it in the comments. But I would say I normally sleep 7 hours per night. That is the sweet spot for me. The sweet spot is when it's like the best. So 6 hours of sleep might be too little for me. 8 hours might be too much. I might feel a little drowsy when I wake up. It's too much sleep. 7 hours is the sweet spot for me. Please let me know in the chat, how many hours per night do you like to sleep? I think doctors recommend 8 hours for most people, but I think some people need fewer hours of sleep and some people need more hours of sleep. I know children need more hours of sleep. And I think as you get older, you need fewer hours of sleep? Great question, Nazar. Thank you. Let me know in the chat. How many hours of sleep do you need? Looking through the chat here, Anna, I would like to thank you for being a channel member. To all the channel members, Tanya is a channel member. All right, Tessa. Hey, Brent. Thanks in advance for another interesting lesson. I hope it will be. At the moment, I'm on vacation in the USA, but I'm watching your lesson. Take care, Tessa. Tessa, I hope you have an amazing time in my country. Please let me know where you're at in the United States. Oh no, I'm in. Feeling sleepy. Is this lesson too boring? Maybe I am putting you to sleep. We use that verb sometimes. Put you to sleep. That movie Jamie watched in the theater, I mean, it was really loud, but that movie put her to sleep. Absolutely. Amen. Take caffeine. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to recommend caffeine, but when I feel drowsy, I usually take some caffeine. I usually drink an energy drink. All right, Texas is in the house. One way to say somebody is with you, you could say, oh, they're in the house. Texas is in the house. All right, looking through here. Is it, Freddie? Counting sheep is not an efficient way. Let me read it. Efficient. That is a good word to know. Yes, counting sheep is not only, efficient. He says it is efficient. Yes, counting sheep is not only efficient to sleep, but you learn counting as well for kids. Is it just a trick that the parents use to try to teach people how to count? Yeah, I don't think it works. Does it work? Chris is saying 5 hours of sleep per night. Impressive. Impressive. All right. Nasser, 8 hours. 8 hours. Doctors say I think that is best. All right, I'm in. Why use sheep and not sheeps? For most words, when we use the plural, more than one, we say add an S. Maybe you add an ES. If it ends in Y, maybe you add an IES. But oh, yes, we have some irregular nouns. Sheep is one of them. Animals often are irregular. Moose, where I live, we have a lot of moose in my state. 1 moose, 2 moose, 3 moose, 1 deer, 2 deer, 1 mouse, 2 mice, 1 goose, 2 geese. I don't know why. I don't know why. Wait, Chris, earlier you said 5, and now you're saying 6. Which is it? Which is it? All right. Mega says 7 hours. Oh. How many do you sleep, Mega? Whoa. I don't have my glasses on. Mahmoudid. I think I said that wrong. 10 hours of sleep. That's a lot of sleep. All right, here are a couple great terms that Dennis said. Are you a night owl or are you an early bird? So if you are a night owl, I think a lot of people learn this early on when they are learning English. That means you like to stay up late. If you are an early bird, that means you like to wake up early in the morning. I am definitely an early bird. And Dennis is quoting one of our founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin. He says, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Does it? Does it? Going to bed early? All right, Freddie says, currently, we can't sleep as well as we would because the scorching weather. So it must be hot in France where Freddie lives. It's actually far too hot. I only slept a few hours last night. I am so sorry to hear that. Luckily, where I sleep, I do have a nice air conditioner, but I'm worried about that bill. It's going to be very expensive, the electric bill, when it comes in. All right, Brigitte, 6, 8 hours, somewhere in between. Oh, 8 hours on the weekends. We will talk about sleeping in a little later. All right, we got 7 hours. Hello, welcome. 7 hours. Yulia says 7 hours. Okay, so that might be the sweet spot for a lot of people. 7 hours. Nita, I'm well. I hope you are also well. Let's get back to the lesson here. I have quite a few more for you. We have a lot to cover today. We just talked about counting sheep, but now we should talk about nightmare. I hope you don't have nightmares often. What is a nightmare? A scary or bad dream? A lot of times, when members of my family go to sleep, I will tell them sweet dreams. It's another way to say good night to a person in your family, probably, or a really good friend. Sweet dreams. That's just saying that when you dream at night, when you think about things, hopefully they are nice things. A nightmare is the opposite. Oh, goodness. Look at this picture. We have a small child sleeping, wrapped up in a comforter. We will talk about comforter later, but that really thick blanket we would probably call a comforter. And there are a lot of scary images surrounding that child. They might be having a nightmare. Not fun at all. Let's use nightmare in a sentence. She woke up in the middle of the night after having a nightmare. It can be often difficult to go back to sleep in the middle of the night if you have just had a nightmare. And if you have trouble going to sleep, you might toss and turn. Toss and turn. Let's talk about what toss and turn means. It means to move around a lot in bed because you can't sleep. So if you didn't sleep well the night before and you come into work, maybe a coworker asks you, "Hey, how'd you sleep?" They might say, "Wow, you look tired today." That's never nice to hear, right? Especially when you don't think you're tired. "Oh, wow, you look tired today." I never say that to anybody. "Wow, you look tired today." It might make them feel bad. But let's say a coworker says, "How'd you sleep last night?" "I couldn't get to sleep. I tossed and turned all night." It's another way to say you did not sleep well. Let's use it in a sentence. "I was tossing and turning all night and couldn't fall asleep." Never a good feeling. But here's the opposite: slept like a baby. It's an idiom we use to say you slept really well that night. Now, anyone who has had children knows that babies don't often sleep well, but when they do sleep well, you can move them all around. They won't wake up. A lot of times, my children would fall asleep in the car on the way home. I would carry them into their bed. They wouldn't wake up. They were sleeping like a baby. Let's get the official definition. Sleep like a baby? It means to sleep very well and deeply. After hiking all day, he slept like a baby. Hiking. You're probably in the woods. You're on a trail, maybe going up a mountain. If you've had a long day of hiking that night, you might sleep like a baby. What about this English phrasal verb? Catch up on sleep. Catch up. Catch up. Not the condiment you might put on a burger, the red stuff made from tomatoes. Ketchup. It's spelled differently, but this ketchup sounds similar. Catch up on sleep. What does that mean? To get extra sleep to make up for not sleeping enough before. Let me give you an example. Let's say you had a busy week at work. So, Thursday, Friday, you worked a lot, you weren't able to sleep. Maybe on the weekend, you can catch up on your sleep, which means you will sleep more. Maybe you only slept 5 hours on Thursday and Friday, and you say, guess what? Saturday night, I'm going to sleep 10 hours. That means you're catching up on sleep. Now, I've heard that doesn't work, but I don't know. Who am I to know? Getting more sleep doesn't help you when you haven't slept a lot. Here's a sentence. I need to catch up on sleep this weekend because I've been studying late every night. Maybe you do that. You're studying English so hard. You're watching my videos all night. They're so good, you can't fall asleep. Maybe you are studying really hard. Oh dear. Snoring. Now, I have never heard myself snore, so I don't think I snore. Now, if you ask my wife, Jamie, she might say something else. But let's talk about what snoring is. And maybe if we look at that picture, that will help us understand what snoring is. To make a loud noise while breathing in sleep. My dad snores loudly, and it can be hard to sleep. Now, if you watch Bob the Canadian, the great teacher, and he does great sound effects. I'm not sure if you saw his live lesson yesterday about tools. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really good. He made a lot of sound effects. Like he was talking about I think a chainsaw. He would make the sound. He's very good at that. I am not as good, but I'm going to try to do a sound effect right now for snoring. It goes something like this. So I'm sure you have a word for snoring in your language, and now you know what snoring is in English. Not very fun. Maybe you saw the video I did in Poland where I slept in a capsule hostel. Luckily, I had a sound machine going. It was making lots of noise. White noise, we call it. That should have been one of the words I did. White noise. It's just a constant noise, like a fan going. So I didn't hear any snoring, but the walls were thin. If the walls are thin, you can hear what is going on in the next room. So if somebody was snoring next to me in that capsule hotel or hostel, I probably would have heard them. But luckily, I had my AirPods in and I had a sound machine going. My question for you, please be honest. Do you snore? Do you sleep in a bed with someone who snores? Please let me know in the comments if you are watching on replay, or let me know right now if you are watching live. Be honest. Do you snore? Or do you sleep in a bed with someone who does snore? All right, let's check the chat. See what is going on. Whoa, what? Brigitte, Teresa, talking to Teresa. Awesome trip. I like Mount Rushmore a lot. Really? Did you go to Mount Rushmore? I heard that there isn't a lot around Mount Rushmore and it takes a long time to get there. But Judy, it's good to see you. We had a few refreshing showers today, so I might sleep better tonight. Yeah, sometimes when it rains, it really cools things off. Sometimes when it rains, it makes things worse. Hopefully, you will get some sleep tonight. When I sleep deeper, shorter sleep is enough. And what about you? Yeah, sometimes the quality of sleep really counts. You might get 6 hours of really deep sleep. That's what we call it when you sleep really well. You sleep really, let's see. Well, I had to use it. How'd you sleep last night? I slept like a baby. It was a really deep sleep. But if you were tossing and turning for 10 hours, doesn't really help. All right, Tessa, I'm on a bus trip. Started in Chicago, through some national parks, Las Vegas, LA, San Francisco, and then back to Germany. At the moment, we are heading to Mount Rushmore. My goodness. So from Chicago to LA, that's definitely a few days on a bus. And then up to San Francisco. Wow, this is and then over to that must be weeks, right? You've been on the bus for a few weeks? Interesting. Tessa, have fun. Greetings from Germany. Oh yeah. Greeting from Germany. Tanya lives in Germany. And I think Privyet, Privyet. That's the only word I know how to read. Did somebody say Privyet? Maybe not. Privyet. There you go. That works, right? Washing machine. Stick the baby on the washing machine. Little jiggle. Put the baby right to sleep. Hey, Brent, wake up. You're snoring. I was snoring for a little bit. I think my sound effect was pretty good. I do have some experience, I think. Madi, good to see you. I saw a comment from you yesterday, I believe. So good to see you again. Okay. Mahmoudin. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I don't snore.